Hi, Thelma here of Seasonal Crafts and Creations. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. Today I have for you 3 Halloween DIYs. So without further ado, let's get to crafting. Let me adjust my camera so you can see. The first book we're going to make is a witch's spell book. You will need a rather large book. You can get these at your local Dollar Tree for $1, your library book sale, thrift shops, Goodwill, any place that you could get it for around $1, $2, or you might have one on hand. You take the label off, the paper, and then you either paint your book black like I did, or you can paint it like a rusty brown or white and then stain it. But I did mine in black. And now next you will need a pencil. I'm going to put mine a book of spells. And you just write how you want your title to be. And you can always touch it up as you will need a hot glue gun and glue sticks. I have about 7 on hand. Now, you trace the word with your glue gun. It's rather easy. And you can go over it to make it thicker, because you want it to be thick. Now go back over this. And it's okay if your glue comes out, and you can always fix it by making it thicker. And you do that to the whole thing. And then down here you do the same with the S. Mine has a hair. I have a old piece of the glue string stuck to mine. So if you overdo it, just push it up as it's drying with your finger, because it won't matter. You're going to paint over it. Just pull that extra off, just like that. And go back over it. Make sure it's thick enough now. and do your S. And go back over it to make sure it's thick. Now just examine it, and if there's any that you see needs more, now's the time to add it. I could go up here with the point to make my P more relevant. Just add on to make it thicker. And while this is drying, we'll work on the second project. Okay, this is the 3-tier pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. It had a hat on it, which I didn't care for. It's too much glitter. So I just sanded it down and chalk painted it white, and I left the buckle. And now I'm going to paint the, let me find my purple. Okay, I was going to do it in Burnt Umber, number 20512E from Walmart. These are 50 cents. Just use a small paintbrush. And paint the whole thing all the way to the edges. Make sure you go along the trim. It's fairly easy, just do it real slow. Okay, go over it to brush any of the thick paint that's left behind. Thin it down. Sorry about that. That was my cat aiming to jump from one thing to the other, and he missed. But he's okay. Okay, I think I have all the excess off of this. Just go over it one more time to make sure it's a nice even texture of paint and no thick spots. And paint the whole thing, and if needed, go over it twice. Okay, since this is already painted, all we have to do is set it aside, and let it dry and bring back the book of spells. Now what you need to do is get any strays of glue and pull it loose. Okay, now take you will need some gold and silver. Just a little bit of each one. Okay, let's do the gold book. It's easier to do it with my finger than a brush. It goes on more steady. And just take your time. If you want, you can use a brush on this. I just found it, the first book that I made, I was having trouble, so I started over and I did the painting of the letters like I'm doing now, finger painting. Just do book and spells in the gold. Whoops, I almost messed up. Stuck my finger in the wrong one. I'm still on the gold. Now you can title your book any title you want and paint it in any shade you want. But I was just showing you how to do the make the spell book, make the book, period, using this method. Okay, now use the silver on the of. Go over it just one more time. And it smeared, the paint did, but that's okay. Okay. Now, let's move this aside, and while this is drying, let's flip back to the pumpkins. Okay, now that this is dry, we can decorate the hat, and I'm going to use one of these sponge foam to make circles. Get out the color that you want. I'm going to use some orange. Some green. Mix it up. You get a small brush to mix it up with. Just make sure you mix it up real good. I'm just doing this to get it off my brush so I can lay it down over here on my island. Just get you a little bit. Make sure the whole thing is good and wet. Now, okay, that color ain't gonna work, so let's do orange by itself. This is try and error. I'm doing this live, so I'm not going to be doing no editing to edit out. There, that looks a lot better. Let's just do them all in orange. That is a apple orange. And just go ahead and shape your circle. There you go. Now do one right here. And do one over here. Do one centered a little bit down here. Now the trick is once you get it on that, take some paper towel and just wipe it right off your pumpkin. And you have it on your hat, but not your pumpkin. Let's do one more. Alright, and then let's do one at the end here. One poking out right here. And one poking out right here. Alright, now the pumpkin is finished. So let's go back to the book. Okay, now that we're back on the book, it's dry. You want to take and open it to the center. Make sure it's the center. And these are printouts that I got from Pinterest.com. They're free to print out and use. This one is to call blood to blood spell, and this one is summon the angel of death. And you will need some Mod Podge and the paintbrush. And make sure you get it all and work fast because this does dry. Make sure you get the edges and the corners real good. Hurry up and put it on, center it. Now let's do the other one. I'm almost finished with this side. Then we'll put it in, and after we have it centered, we'll do the top. I didn't go over far enough to cover all the words, but that's okay. Now, let's get my... Now to do the top, is to seal it in and protect it. I'm just doing the edges here. Now, this book can be displayed in two different ways. When I have this finished here, I'll show you. Just make sure you get it all because you want it protected against any tears or it coming up on the edges. Okay. Let me put my lid on my Mod Podge. I've had an accident with this before, and I know to put the lid on as soon as you get finished. Now this can be displayed like this, laying flat, or open like this. Let me get that Mod Podge there. That way you can see the spells inside, and you can see the Book of Shadows on the outside. Let me move this off to the side. Okay, now that this is dried, we can go ahead and put the little ribbon back on it so it can, whoops, my kitty cat again, the one that likes to get in my videos. There he come flying by. Did y'all see him? Trying to twist this to where to go. If not, I have to use some of that wire. Okay, it went in pretty easy, so you shouldn't have a problem. Just tie it off. Okay, now let's set this aside and work on the next project is a bow. You will need some, whatever type you want, ribbon, and I have 3 different colors, a solid for in the middle, the buffalo plaid, and I have the pumpkins, or jack-o'-lanterns. Thought I had this already open for y'all. Okay, let's do the jack-o'-lanterns first. You will need a chenille stem, this doesn't have to be real big. Make it about, go around 3 times, where there's 3 on both sides. There's 2. And there's 3. Let's double count now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's measure this. Measure this and cut it off around the same length. A little bit longer. Okay, now crinkle it up. This is going to be the top of the bow. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to do, because this pumpkin is not that big, I'm going to do that one, and now make this one, make it shorter than that one. We're only going to do two different types of bows. Just twirl it around, and again do three. Make sure you have three on both sides. Okay, there's three on that side and there's three on this side, so sprinkle this up. So I'm trying to figure out which way I want this to go. Okay, put the first one on top of the other one. And twist it. Now let's straighten out your bow. Cut this down a little bit. Go ahead and cut it at an angle. Now let's fluff it. Twist it and fluff. Twist it and fluff.